Okay, y'all, so there's a protein that doctors use in emergency medicine to detect brain damage after head trauma, and it's called S100B. And the reason it's useful in emergency medicine is because this protein, it lives inside of your brain, inside the support cells of your brain, and it only crosses into your bloodstream when the barrier is compromised and those cells are damaged. So when doctors see it elevated in your blood after head injury, they know that something structural happened. Karolinska Institute found it was measurably elevated in people who've experienced chronic emotional abuse. Womp, womp, womp. Shocking. And that's with no head injury, no accident, just the chronic stress state of emotional abuse itself. Ugh. And yo, when I found this research out, I had to sit with it for a hot minute because it meant the thing that I had been told was just anxiety and just sensitivity and just another freaking mental health condition. I finally had something detectable in my blood, something measurable, something real. So let me tell you about what this whole S100B actually is, okay? S100B is a protein that is produced by astrocytes, those star-shaped support cells. Those cells make up the structural and the biochemical scaffolding of your brain. And astrocytes, they do an enormous amount of work. They regulate our BBB, which is our blood-brain barrier. They support synaptic function. They provide metabolic support to neurons, and S100B is one of the proteins they produce, and under normal healthy conditions, S100B stays inside the brain. It does not cross the BBB or go into the peripheral circulation in significant amounts. So let's think of it like a dye inside of a pipe or something, okay? If the pipe is intact, the dye is gonna stay inside. But if the pipe develops cracks, right, then the barrier becomes compromised and the dye, it'll start showing through some of the cracks, right? And in places it was never supposed to be, it'll start seeping out, okay? Well, when researchers see S100B in your blood like they did in mine, they know your pipe has cracks. And this is why S100B is used as a clinical biomarker for traumatic brain injury, because it shows up in the blood of people who've experienced head trauma. Yikes, yeah. And that's because the physical impact, it compromises the barrier and those astrocytes. And now y'all, hear this. Karolinska Institute research published in 2022, they found significantly elevated plasma S100B in CPTSD populations also. And they compared those to trauma-exposed people without CPTSD and to those without any trauma exposure at all, or any crazy trauma exposure, because we all have it. But anyways, the chronic stress state of the chronic emotional abuse folks, the sustained cortisol, the constant neuroinflammation, the constant ever-living oxidative stress, even when the triggers and the people and those that are inducing it aren't around, it's producing the same blood-brain barrier disruption that shows up in head trauma patients. Yeah, I said that. And Harvard Medical School in 2023, they confirmed that this elevated S100B in CPTSD populations, it correlates directly with neuroinflammatory marker levels and your symptom severity scores. Yeah. So that dye is in your blood, and your trauma severity is literally now measurable in your blood, okay? And here's the part that gets even more specific. At low concentrations, S100B is actually neuroprotective. Yeah, I said that. It's neuroprotective at low levels. It supports our neuronal survival and our synaptic plasticity. But at the elevated concentrations produced by chronic stress and these barrier disruptions, it completely flips, okay? And it activates the RAGE receptors and the receptor for advanced glycination end products. And it starts amplifying the neuroinflammatory cascade instead of dampening it. The very protein that was supposed to support your brain, it becomes part of what is driving the damage when it actually escapes. So this is not a mental health issue, and this is not anxiety, and this is a measurable protein in your blood that shows your brain has been working under conditions equivalent to an actual trauma brain head injury. And the pipe, it can be repaired. Now, y'all know I love me some Well, it reduces our astrocytes oxidative stress, which is driving the release of it to begin with. And omega-3s, they support our BBB. That's our blood-brain barrier and the integrity of it. And cortisol reduction, which if y'all have been following me for a minute or even just a couple of days or a week, y'all know we always come back to cortisol nearly every single time because, as in this case, that naughty little cortisol, it addresses the primary upstream driver of the barrier distribution, which allows the dye to escape. Yay! So what I want y'all to do is I want us to nose inhale for 4 counts, mouth exhale for 8, and I want you to cup your palms when you exhale so they're warm. And I want you to repeat this 3 times over. And then I want you to close your eyes, okay? And I just want you to feel the warmth on it. Let the darkness calm your visual cortex. Breathe. The damage was real and it is measurable. My barrier is being repaired now. Y'all, I know if I can start healing and I can start getting on the other side of this whole thing, then y'all can too. And I'm here for y'all to talk to. You are not the only ones that are going through this. I have my ups and downs as well. And I hope y'all have a fabulous day ahead. Bye.